Murder style, y'all.
Insanity, insanity, whatever happened to humanity? Ooh.
Kite Liberator is a 2008 science fiction OVA that has been written and directed by Yasumi Yumitsu. Manaka seems to be just an average high school girl, but she has a dark and terrible secret linking to her past to a murderous police detective and to a fatal duel with the one person she loves the most in the world. Not only does she tries to find answers, but she is willing to stop and take down anyone that is willing to prevent her from fulfilling her journey. You know, after watching Yasumi Yumitsu's previous installments, like the original Kite film, and wow, how can I forget about Mezzo Forte? After watching those two and seeing how they was both similar when it comes to the wackiness, the lack of character detail, the dialogue, and the chemistry, and just what left us hanging with the two installments that Yasumi Yumitsu has given us. I came in watching Kite Liberator with low expectations. I thought that this would have the same issues that I addressed in those two franchises. But let's just say that this one has surprised me in mostly all aspects. One thing that surprised me the most with this anime is the pacing of it. Now, unlike Mezzo Forte in the regular Kite film, this anime actually picks up pretty slowly because as on those two, those animes picked up pretty quickly. It took a while to get there, but I didn't mind it at all because by taking a while for it to get there to the main thing that Yasumi likes to throw out, which is the action and the gore, he wanted to take a step back and give us more familiarization, more character dialogue, more chemistry, and at the same time, the direct pacing of the main character, Mornaka, and just everybody else that stands around her. I thought it was great. I thought it was well warranted, and it made me care about the characters, and it made me care about the driver Manaka's story. Yasumi must know that he fucked up on those previous installments because even though he has done well with the pacing of the characters and the cinematography and the dialogue, he gave me and the viewers a lot to render with Manaka's character to the point where we basically know a lot about her history, what she does, and how is she originating to the city when it comes to her being in both sides by people not knowing what she really does behind the scenes. I like that. By her being a waitress in this cafe and just acting cutesy and acting innocent and just tripping over things like a regular high school girl does. She has a dark side to her. Basically, a yin and yang figure. She is overly happy. She is overly dramatic. She is overly clumsy. She is overly dramatically just emotional when things doesn't come her way. She's a klutz, in a sense. That's kind of what makes her adorable, and all the characters and everybody that comes across her just cannot bear to just see how adorable as she is. But at the same time, we come across her in a darker tone. Whatever she is, when it comes to her being nice, she is just as brutal. And they have done the pacing to her very well. To the point where unlike Mezzo Forte and a Kite characters that has been forced upon us with a lack of detail, Manaka's character is not just threatening, imposing, malicious, and god damn, a hard woman to take down. She is freaking scary. There were times where enemies will come across her and they did not even know they was at her mercy. She would not show that shit. So she won't toy with the enemies and make them beg for forgiveness. As soon as they know that something's not right, she immediately kills them. But unlike Mezzo Forte and the Kite, Yasumi took a step back when it comes to the creativity of how the enemies died, which was a letdown, but he made for it in a very creative gesture. Even though the anime is still filled with action, it's still filled with gore, but at the same time, again, Yazawami took a step back with the creativity of the wackiness and the creativity of just how the enemies get killed off. At first, I thought it was a problem. At first, I thought it was an issue, but he easily made up for it when it came to the fictionized gesture that was in this anime, which is they decided to add aliens and monsters in this anime. Now, I don't want to spoil too much, but they fight him here, and I thought it was well warranted. And to the point where I didn't even think, it made me not think that this was Yazawami's work, which showed me how creative his mind is. Because as they was fighting monsters and aliens and stuff, it was it was giving me feels of Resident Evil and Dead Space. Some people had a problem with them taking away the wackiness, like Mezzo Forte, how people was somehow crushing baseballs with their bare hands, and naked women blowing up, and people getting stabbed in the hand through, with forks through the freaking table, or like a Kite, where freaking people are falling off of freaking buildings and they're hitting, they're crashing, against cars, through trucks, and they're just going through wall. No. Yazawami knew how wacky that was, and he took a couple steps back, and he added a fictionized gesture to the anime on this one that made it more believable. It made it more creepy and scary-like. I was actually getting pulled in the fear aspect of some of the scenes that included these monsters and aliens on here. And that's one thing I want to focus on here, is the fact that Yazawami fixed things that a Kite and Mezzo Forte had to fix, which is the character development, which is the wackiness of the action, and just the fictionized gesture of how these characters get taken place and what made us want to care about these characters in the first place. Unlike those, Kite Liberator has less characters to care about. It only has a couple of them if you don't want to care about Manaka. But the lesser the characters, the more we get pulled in by the characters' motivations. The more characters we have, the less we're going to get interested with the handful of characters that we want to pick and choose which one is our favorite. So if you're going to watch Kite Liberator, you're going to love Manaka because she is the main one. Unlike a Kite in Mezzo Forte, you have a handful of characters to pick from which one is your favorite, which one you like the most. But at the same time, you can't say that they're your favorite because what you know about them. What driven you to like these characters in the first place, and what makes you think that they're your favorite? You can't answer them. But on Kite Liberator, you can answer that because you have one character that is the main, and that is Manaka, and her pacing, and the chemistry, the dialogue, the backstory, us knowing that she is a cold-blooded assassin is well warranted to the franchise, and I thought he did this well with flying colors by him knowing that he done fucked up by the other two previous installments and want to focus more on the characterization of the story itself. Very well done and very well crafted. Now, even though this anime is not just an improvement to his installments, that does not mean that I have to overlook certain issues with this anime that people that have watched it have you ever noticed something and right before you talk about it you instantly get pissed off? I'm saying that because Kite Liberator has done right when it came to everything that I mentioned. But the more that they fix and the more that they give us, the more questions that need to be answered. The more things we want to know more about the story and what it stands for. And that is the reason why I'm so mad at this, is because you have done everything right when it comes to you fixing the problems that you had in your previous installments. But you want to end this anime right when we was beginning to find out that everything was beginning to fall in our lap, all the pieces was beginning to get put together. I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say here that this anime has a twist. But it's not really a twist because they explained it before Manaka finds out what really happens. So right when she finds out, the anime is over. It turns black. Now at first I thought that something happened to my TV. I thought the fuse blew. But no, the clock was working fine. The DVD player was working fine. That was it. And that was the main thing. I wanted to know what was going to happen. Like, damn, after she found this out, what's going to happen now? But no, the anime just ended. And I felt like this was a big slap on the face to people to just go and read the manga if they have that. And that should not be in an anime, period. It shouldn't be. Especially if you didn't even fucking finish it. If you finish the manga, finish the anime. Don't leave us hanging and push us into watching more of it by not continuing the franchise by having us read the manga. I know this anime is old. I know this anime came out in 2008. But there are still anime producers and directors and creators that does shit like this. They start off strong with a franchise. They build it up. But then they take a step back by ending it on a very big cliffhanger so you can read the manga so you can continue it there. That's bullshit. And they think that's going to make fans get pulled in more. No, it's going to make fans get pulled away. And it's going to divide fans from manga readers to anime watchers. Stop this shit. Especially since you fixed everything that was wrong with the other installments. It really blows my mind how we have stuff like this that people watch and talk about and praise. But at the same time, there's always a but to it. There's always an issue with it. There's always a side effect to it. There's always something like a bullshit method that will pull you away that would want you to give this anime praise. I want to give Kite Liberator praise, especially since they fixed everything that Mezzo Forte has fucked up, since they have fixed everything that a Kite has fucked up. But by you doing this and by me getting pulled in and then you taking my excitement and my adrenaline away by right when she finds out what really happened and then you say that the anime is over, me giving Mezzo Forte a C and me giving Mezzo Forte the uncut version a C and then me giving a Kite a C. What makes you think I'm going to give this a better rating? I'm going to have to give Kite Liberator a C. I was thinking about a C minus. Shit, I was thinking about giving it a D. But what made me go higher is because they've done everything right that I have mentioned. But as it was fixing everything, they have pulled us into a rope of us wanting to know more about the characters and us solving the drive of the characterization of us being pulled in and what would happen into the conclusion. I mean, for fuck's sake, they have kind of done the same thing with a Kite, but they actually explained what happened to the main character on this one. But Kite Liberator was the last franchise that Yaswami has made. And if he has made more, we don't know what happened after this. It just went black. That is unfucking acceptable. Moments like this really brings my piss to a boil. Because when you hear stuff like this, there's going to be people that's going to like this no matter what the circumstance is. But you have people like me that loves it. And they hate to see stuff like this ending in a bad note like this. So I kind of want to say that people like me like this more than true fans. But other than that, that's all I have to say for today. God damn it. Please stay tuned for more anime videos and anime reviews headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher. God damn it.